I'll just give people a couple of minutes to join. Good evening, Cody Ann and Renee. It's so lovely to have you here. If you want to pull up a beanbag or a comfy chair, wrap yourself in a blanket, grab an adult beverage or a milky drink, and we will get started very soon. Sorry for jiggling myself. I had to cross my legs and oh my goodness, now we've got Mandy, Igor, Amy, Chris. Welcome all. As I say, I wasn't sure if I was going to do. Let's just get that's about central, isn't it? Wasn't sure if I was going to do one because I don't know what's wrong with me. The last couple of weeks, I've been really struggling for energy and to just be awake, all that good stuff. Hello, everyone. Hello, Igor. Welcome. Come in, sit down. Everyone get comfy. Summer, nice to have you here. Hope you had your nana nap. And I will try and find some enthusiasm because the main point of coming on is something that we really want to get enthusiastic about, and that's tomorrow, because it is the official State of the Swamp address, the official State of the Union rebuttal, the one, the only, defiance.org, spectacular, with frogs and everything. You don't get that anywhere else. And if you are lucky enough to be in the DC area and have a ticket, because I believe it's been an absolute sellout in person, which is unbelievably fantastic, then you'll be going along to the press club, whatever it's called. I don't know, because I'm a little bit far away to make it from London and I don't have a valid passport at the moment. And I've got a lot of social media stuff saying, fuck Trump. So I'm not sure I'd be allowed in. But I'm very excited to live stream. And I did try. Oh, do you want to hear the funniest, spookiest? Well, it's not really that spooky because Defiance do go on live at the same time every time, I believe, every day that they stream. But it happened to be the same time that I sat down to watch the incredibly powerful story of what happened to Xander Schultz's family, in particular his dad and his uncle. It's called Foxcatcher, and you can get it on lots of different platforms. Prime is where I found it. And it's really powerful. And we haven't even got to the bit that Xander showed us the other day, the big bit. Oh, did which Michael Cohen? Did he badmouth the State of the Swamp? I'm sorry to hear that. So, Igor, your sleep schedule's all out of whack again. Non-circadian sleep disorder. I hear you, mate. Yeah. Well, I won't keep you long. You can all have a little break before Glenn. I know it's so. Oh, I haven't even got to that bit. I'm sitting, and Xander's dad. Well, it's not actually Xander's dad. It's Mark Ruffalo, but it's the equivalent of Xander's dad is in front of me because I didn't finish watching it because I had to pause. And yeah, I mean, I got a little bit upset yesterday, I'll be honest, because I happened to catch a rerun of somebody who I don't watch anymore. And that person described how they would be going to the State of the Swamp. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's great. Good. All the support, all of us there. We want to all be there. They're more the merrier. Excellent. You go, you big them up, you make it something amazing and special, and let's get this democracy back on track. And then they drew attention to the fact that this merchandise that they are capitalizing on, that they are making money out of based on destroying another human being, they will be handing that particular merchandise over to the Defiance team, and that upset me. And I have to say, personally, just me, if I see Xander or Miles or Mercedes or any of the team wearing a Wolfpack thing, then that will be it for me and Defiance, because that particular merchandise is based on the destruction of another human being. And I can't stand behind that. If they want to wear some of that, I mean, that particular person has an awful lot of merchandise you can buy, some great stuff. I think enough is enough and some really powerful sayings. But the wolf pack is specifically was born out of destroying another human being. And I cannot get past that. No, I think so. I think Michael probably is upset being left out because people like um, Ellie Leonard and Lev Parnas and Wajahat Ali and Joe Walsh are all being a part of it. And there probably was a time not that long ago when he would have been part of it too. And from the evidence that I've seen, he has been destroyed unjustly. To destroy somebody's entire livelihood, their mental peace of mind, their physical health, I need some evidence, please. Otherwise, I go with the United States. I go with the UK. The the assumption of innocence is paramount until proven guilty, and nobody has. So that's where I stand. Not on this team, not on that team. This person, some evidence was provided. I tested the evidence. It wasn't robust. It didn't hold water. It wasn't provable beyond a reasonable doubt. This person was not proven guilty. And so that was enough for me. So I carried on being a popular enjoyer eagle. That's not my impression. My impression is that um, yeah, that's not my impression. My impression is that there has been a lot going on. And there have been a lot of people who have reveled in it, who have discussed it with joy and laughing their heads off. And I can't buy into that. I just can't buy into it. And that's when I withdrew from a big group of the wolf pack, basically. That's when I withdrew from them because I can't, you have an opinion, you think there's something sus going on. Totally up to you. Yeah, there are lots of things that look like there might be something sus going on. But that's all there is. There is no proof. There is no evidence. There is no beyond a reasonable doubt. So you think there's something sus, and you have a right to feel that. And you say there is not something sus, and you have a right to say that. And when you can stop fighting between you, the rest of us can just listen to what you've got to say in terms of how we're all going to fight to get democracy back, because that's what we're really interested in. Yeah, absolutely. Not guilty. Not guilty. But there is the presumption. The presumption is innocent. You are innocent until proven guilty. And that's the innocent I mean. I don't for 1 second suggest that Michael Cohen is an innocent human being. And I don't think Michael Cohen would suggest that either. I hope he wouldn't. But there are kinds of behavior that I don't agree with. And there are kinds of behavior that I don't agree with that I have seen. And so I don't support. And that's all. And while I can understand why I didn't hear it, but I could understand why Michael Cohen would be a bit snarky to be left out, I don't think that's necessary. I really don't think that was necessary. But I'm not him, and I've not had my life destroyed the way he's had his life destroyed. So I would probably be feeling a bit snarky if I were him. But I'm disappointed. I'll say that. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that stupid infighting. Anywho, forget about that. Forget about what's going on, what's not going on. The event tomorrow, the State of the Swamp, is really important to send a message, a big, loud message to Trump and his gang and his 39% favorable, according to an Ipsos Mori poll, supporters, 60% unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump at the moment. we need to get a message to them that what has been happening over the last year in terms of government, governance, and democracy, and the way the American people are being treated, not to mention the way the rest of the world are being treated, but more specifically, the rights and freedoms that the American people fought to have codified in a constitution, and now having them shut all over. That's what tomorrow's about. Tomorrow's about getting a message saying, that's not okay. We are here to demand our constitutional rights back. And I stand with you as American adjacent. Obviously, I'm not American. I have nothing to do with America. I have various mental health problems, which mean I fixate. Because I've got grown-ups running the thing in the UK at the moment, whether you agree with them or not, they seem to be grown-ups, and they will make mistakes and they will get things wrong, and that's fine. You don't have to support Labour, you don't have to support Tory, you don't have to support Reform, God help you. But they are grown-ups doing the job at the moment, so I can sit back and relax. And then unfortunately, my gaze gets caught by the mango monster and I become obsessed again. And it's just not fair. And while I have fought inside my head with the fallacy of fairness for most of my life, I still don't like it. I still find this self-enriching behavior with no consequences, shitting on people, hurting people, harming people, not holding anybody accountable. I just find it really fucking offensive. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. That was a little bit more intense than I was going with. Anyway, shall we have a little bit of news and then we'll make a plan for tomorrow, because it sounds like there's a lot going on. So, where are we? You know Peter Mandelson's been arrested, don't ya? Oh yeah, UK ain't messing about on this one. And can I just say, just between you, me and the internet, because of the way that I understand the UK justice system, these charges, while they are not the ones that we want them to be, they are not the ones that the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein deserve them to be. The accountability that is so important is not happening yet. We are not having these men stand up and say, oh, yeah, these are the things I did. But we're really good when it comes to financial crimes and corporate crimes and this kind of bringing their position into disrepute kind of stuff. And the penalties for a conviction under these charges, if they get laid as charges, at the moment it's just an arrest under the suspicion of, they can be imprisoned for a year. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not expect Mandelson, or absolutely not Andrew, to go to jail. Maybe Mandelson. We have put politicians in jail before. But I do expect it to be enough of an incentive to open the door to start to get some of the truth out. And that's what I am hoping and praying for. And I just don't care what happens to them, so long as it's, what's the word? Appropriate. I mean, they've ruined their lives, but I'm not going to feel sorry for them because that was their choice. They've ruined other people's lives who had no say in it. And that, how do you find accountability for that? I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the UK. Oh, Amy, I'm so sorry about the today, because I was feeling so shattered. I thought, well, I did intend to go on so I can big up Defiance and really make sure everybody who happens to accidentally come through my little midnight cafe. I just wanted to make sure that there was another voice, all of us, all of our voices. It's less than 24 hours away now. It starts at 9:30 Eastern time. So that's going to be really early for you guys on the West Coast, with the frogs going to government, to Capitol Hill with constitutions to give to all of the representatives in government. And I love that. I love that so bigly, as who would say. So I'm all for it. And I've got the frog costume, and I am trying to figure out whether there is any way I can put the frog costume on and drive for an hour across the River Thames to go and fetch my little kid from his lovely posh grammar school. I don't know. I don't know. He'll die if I turn up as a frog, but maybe I could just take the head off. Maybe I could leave the house dressed as a frog. I don't know. We will see. Hello, Natasha. Come in, get comfy, pull up a beanbag, grab your milky beverage or your adult beverage. All are welcome here. So yeah, I know, that's so exciting. The Portland Frog Brigade are in DC. They are there. They were on the Defiant Live. If you missed the Defiant Live, catch it on Substack, defiant.news. There will be the video. It's probably there right now. Can you do it without the head? I can do it with the head kind of folded over. So I can put the arms in and do the zip up to the neck and just have the head folded over. And I don't have to have it puffed up. I can just have it like a loose, silky costume. We've got options. If I was over there, I would be doing it. I would be walking to my child's school and walking them home with the inflatable frog inflated and all the rest of it. If one person sees me and gets the message, that's all right, isn't it? That's doing something. We've got to do it. I haven't seen Not Luma, actually. Maybe she's having a nana nap. Someone asked if Not Luma was around. So that's pretty much all the UK news. There's not a lot else going on. So what else have we got? So we did a lot about Mexico yesterday. So just to update, it does look like, do you remember I said this was the Mexico situation, and you've got the government forces going in and killing El Mencho. And then you've got the cartel fighting back because they didn't like that. And then you've got the government fighting back to try and keep them under control. And we were here yesterday. Is it going to go boof, or are the government forces going to go sprrr? And it looks like it's more sprrr than boof. So that's good. The American and Canadian citizens are still being advised, I believe, to shelter in place. But there have not been any incidents in line with the threats that were made yesterday. It's still lots of burning vehicle blockades and fighting with the National Guard. So it could be worse. Still not ideal. It must be absolutely terrifying. And I pray that everyone is safe inside Mexico, and everyone who needs to get home gets home safely. So, my kids are 24 and 12. Yes, because you're not quite tall enough, or I'd be helping so it would fit better. Oh God, no, I'm a little short ass. I couldn't find different sizes. It seemed to be adult or kid, and I'd have bought a kid if I could have found a kid one. But at the last minute, when I decided to go full frog, if I don't go full frog in the car to pick up the kid, I've also got the froggy headband and the froggy pajamas. I could go in that. I am only 5'4". So yeah, bit more news about the Trump would-be assassin. Not very exciting. Apparently he comes from a family of Trumpers, but he was never very political, according to people who know him. This has not been confirmed. He worked on a golf course back in North Carolina, and every week donated some of his wages to charity. That's all we really know about him. There is a suggestion that he's maybe angry about details within the Epstein files. There was some evidence within his vehicle to suggest that, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So, the Reiner murders, let's do that quickly and get it out of the way because it's just too sad. It's another one of those situations that's just devastating for all concerned. So Nick Reiner appeared in court today. This has been delayed twice already. First time because his lawyer sacked him. His big, expensive lawyer sacked him. Now, I wondered at the time whether that was potentially because he didn't have access to his family wealth to pay the pricey lawyer, because he's a suspect and, he's not going to be allowed access to the family bank account while he's a suspect in their murder. So that, my best guess would be that he can't afford to retain the pricey lawyer. So he's being represented by a public defender now. And on his behalf, the public defender entered a plea of not guilty. And at the moment, it's just not guilty, not guilty by reason of insanity, but there's no reason why that couldn't change if it appears to be in his best interest. But at the moment, it's a plea of not guilty. He's being held with no bail. And it's important to also note there is the circumstance. Now, I forget the exact wording, so you're just going to have to bear with. But the special circumstance in Nick Reiner's case is using a big, nasty, scary, mean weapon. That's the essence of what the special circumstance is. Yeah, I agree, Summer. He may very well be a difficult, I'm sure he is a very difficult client. When you think about his mental health issues, his addiction issues, and the fact that his parents are now dead and he did it, allegedly, he's going to be going through some things. I think we can all agree he's going to be going through some things. So because there are the special circumstances, there is the possibility that the death penalty could be considered, but it sounds like the prosecutors are going to liaise closely with the remaining children, the siblings of the guy in the dock, and be led by them as far as, the law permits. So the preliminary hearing is set for the 29th of April, but it is very likely to be delayed. So I wouldn't expect we'll see much of Nick Reiner in court before the summer, because they're going to need to do mental health assessments, and then that's going to have to be done by one representative on the defense team, then for the prosecution, and it's going to take a long time. He acknowledged that he is aware, or beyond exactly, Summer. Yeah, I mean, it could be well into the autumn, winter, or 2027. This is not going to be sorted out quickly, but it doesn't have to be, does it? It's not like we need this trial because we need to know what happened. We know all we need to know, and now we just have to hope that this family is being looked after as best they can be, because it's just horrific. That's interesting, Amy, that they may not have been able to get someone to sign up on the mental health issues. Yeah, which is potentially why the delays already, and could well look for, could be a foundation for more delays. But yeah, it's really sad. So we will pray for the family and pray for him, because I can't imagine, having been an addict and having done some things I'm mightily ashamed of under the influence, I cannot imagine. And I thank God that I'm not in the position, and never was in the position, where I had to try and undo or deal with having done something that horrific. I can't. From everything I've heard, I cannot believe he's an evil man who planned this meticulously, wanted his parents dead, and is happy that they're gone. This seems to me to be a very emotional killing, but I don't know. I don't know the facts. And if it is, I imagine he's going through all kinds of hell. So I just pray for them all. Yeah, it can't be fun for him in prison either. But, unfortunately, sometimes, depending on who you are, you do have to accept the consequences of your actions. And we all know who doesn't. But we're not talking about those. So we've done the Trump Ipsos poll, just in case anybody wasn't here when I mentioned it before. It is lovely. An Ipsos Mori poll due to be produced today or tomorrow shows that Trump's approval rating is currently 39% approve, 60% disapprove. And I know you're all thinking, who the fuck are these 39% of Americans, these millions of Americans who think, yeah, I think he's doing a good job. Yeah, he's making my life better. Because if we take out the Epstein class, that doesn't make up 39%. But you don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, addiction rage, Amy. That's what I'm thinking as well. Just complete loss of control. I don't know. There's going to be no happy outcome to this, is there? Because two, by all accounts, loving, decent people are no longer with us. They were taken in the most horrible way. And there's a family, there's a group of siblings grieving. And I can't imagine how would I feel if my sister murdered my parents? I adore my sister. She's my world. She's my best friend ever. But if she killed my parents, there would have to be an awful lot of praying going on, because I would find it hard to naturally forgive, but I would have to forgive to move on and to not poison myself with that kind of toxic energy. I'm really sensitive to toxic energy, hence where we started with the Wolfpack and Michael Cohen. I have to separate myself from toxic energy. And it's not a judgment on them. It's not a judgment on anyone who's like, yeah, get in and watch the fists flying. If that's your thing, if that's what gets you excited and moving and fills your soul with joy, I don't get it, but I don't judge you. We had a lovely reading yesterday. Well, I think it was a lovely reading. And it really spoke to me, the Old Man and the White Horse, about not judging. We don't always know. Sometimes you've only got a tiny little snapshot. Sometimes you've only got a few pieces of the jigsaw. And it would look very differently if you had the whole thing. And since nobody has offered me the job of God, of any kind, of any flavour, of any variety, then judging is way above my pay grade. Oh, Igor, I am so sorry. And I think every time I hear somebody who has an experience with an addict, especially a traumatic, scary experience with an addict, I think, firstly there, but by the grace of God go I. And also, I hope I never made anyone feel that scared. I really hope that I never did that. I know I made people worry for me. I know I made people upset and caused discomfort by just being an embarrassing, causing a scene type drama queen. But I don't think I ever made anybody scared to be around me. But I upset a lot of people, and I'm glad I'm not doing that. I am really glad I am not being that person anymore. And I thank God. I thank a 12-step program of recovery, which worked for me. Won't work for everybody, but it worked for me. And I thank the people of the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, because without them, I wouldn't be 21 years, going on 22 years without a drink. And all the terrible shit that's happened in the last 22 years has been much easier to deal with than the shit that happened before. And I haven't made things worse. And that's what I'm really, really, really grateful for. I have alternatives now. I don't have to drink. So Amy says, it would be because I watched Ghost of Mississippi and I forgot about the quote. Miley Evers, quoting Mecca Evans, when you hate, the only person who suffers is you, because most of the people you hate don't know it and the others don't care. Amen. And in AA, I heard, and I'm sure it's not just an AA thing. So whenever I say this is something I heard in AA, I'm not saying this comes from AA. I'm just saying that's where I first heard it from. And the thing that I heard was having anger and resentment towards another person is like drinking poison yourself and expecting the other person to die. And I was drinking so much poison when I was drinking a lot of alcohol. Oh, amazing, Igor. She got herself into a treatment program and she's well. Oh, my heart leaps. That is such good news. Thank God and thank whatever she went through. And thank you for being there and for sharing anonymously her story with us. That's really nice to hear. Thank you. So we looked at it. Harry poll. Trump's not very popular. Who knew? Who would have guessed? Who would have predicted? And that stat of 60% disapproval is exactly where he was when he was kicked out of office last time. So, good omens, I believe. Mexico, we've done. Violence is abating, but it's still not 100% safe. There's still warnings. Stay safe. See you in a minute, Amy. I know. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I thought those figures must be wrong. I'm sure Mr. Trump himself will tell us later on that those figures are made up by the fake news media. We all know that. We've done the Trump assassin update. We've done the Reiner murders update. So what does that leave us with? What do you think is the big news out of the United States that has been catching my attention today, other than the alternative State of the Union? Because we know the alternative State of the Union. The problem with 12-step is it puts the onus on a person's willpower when in fact their pharmaceutical inventions are much more effective, but they're not used because of 12. Back in the day, it was the only way to do it. So I understand it does work for some people. I've seen it fail in terrible ways and medicine would have done the trick. I do not subscribe to any 12-step group who advise you to stop your mental health medication. We are not experts in mental health. We are individuals who have recovered from a hopeless state of mind, body, and spirit. And we can show you, if you are in the same place, what we did. And you can try it and see if it works for you. But please, for the love of God, take your fucking mental health medication. I do. I've been on various antipsychotics, antidepressants, and I don't care who knows. Look, there's my AA ring. I'm fucking serious about AA, but I'm also fucking serious that Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson were not mental health professionals. They were two drunks. And they figured out a few things that could help them not drink. So that's it. Yeah, no. I agree. I agree, Igor. And I don't think there is one way to get sober. And I know for some people it's controlled drinking. All of us in the therapy unit that I was in had Librium and other things to calm us down. And, we have something called antabuse. I don't know what the generic name, the pharmacological name for antabuse is, but it's a medication that if you drink while you're taking it, it makes you violently ill. So absolutely, there is more than one way to skin a drunk cat. AA, a 12-step program, and finally finding a higher power that I could gel with, that was my way. And that has worked for me for 22 years, as long as I try and just keep it in the day and do the right things each day. And it's not going to be everybody's way. And anybody in any program or any institution or organization who says to you, this is the only way to recover from this, run screaming, run, slam the door behind you. They are talking nonsense. What you need is somebody who says, there are these options. Some people have found success with these options. Some people have found success with a combination of these options. You're going to have to try it and see what works for you. And we will try and keep you safe while you do so. That's good advice. And yes, summer cult. There is that is often thrown at 12-step groups. The fact that they're a cult, and I have seen some 12-step groups, some groups of Alcoholics Anonymous where they are very, very culty, and I'm not stupid. I'm not a moron. I'm not in need of saving. I just want to stop drinking. And if you're going to treat me like a child, you can fuck right off, because that's not what I came here for. I want to listen to those people who are living joyous, happy, and free lives without the necessity to fall back on their addiction to whatever it may be. I want to know what they did. I want to hear what they did, and I want to see if that works for me. And living a more honest life, trying to not to have to cover up everything I've done, to say I fucked up, to say I got this wrong, to say I'm so sorry, please forgive me, to say I'm just exhausted and don't want to come into work today, instead of ringing up and saying I've got a migraine and forgetting, and then half an hour later ringing up and saying I've got an upset tummy. It's so much easier. And I don't always get it right. Sometimes old habits die hard. But when I do, when I live by trying to do the next right thing, the next indicated right thing, then my life is less complicated. And when it's less complicated, the difficult things, which don't stop just because you get sober, but they're easier to manage. And it's easier to know where to reach out to for other kinds of help. So if it's a financial situation, to reach out to get financial help. If it's a domestic violence, or it's housing, or it's employment. When I'm thinking clearly, then I can reach out to the right people, saying the right things, i.e. the truth, and get the right help. Sorry, I don't know. We seem to go down a rabbit hole there, and I do apologise. So I've also personal beep. So I was unlawfully imprisoned at a treatment centre when I had a manic episode. A bunch of people looked at the props for the film I was working on, decided my problem's addiction. Luxury prison for 4 months, resulting in oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, please, Igor. There have been some horrific behaviours done in the name of 12-step programs, like there have other religions. Not that the 12-step program is a religion, but you get what I mean. Other things that are designed for good that have been abused by people. And I hate that happens. And I counsel anyone I ever meet in a meeting to give those people the absolute widest berth. In fact, avoid them entirely if you possibly can. Any organization that is not trying to empower you is taking your power away. So if a 12-step program doesn't empower you, it might not be the right program for you. But getting honest is hard too. Getting honest was hard for me because I didn't believe I was enough. I didn't believe flawed Tracy would be accepted. I genuinely believed that if you knew how flawed I was, you would reject me. So what I had to do above everything else is present perfect. And that is absolutely fucking exhausting. And so that's what my getting honest looks like. My getting honest looks like I am flawed. I am so fucking flawed. Welcome, all you other wonderful flawed people with all your faults. We love you and we embrace you. And we look after each other here. So you're still rebuilding, Igor? Oh no. Oh God, it was a family thing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You rant as much as you like. We are a safe space here. It's not going any further than this. The comments, nobody can see them after we've chatted about them. We're not naming names. We're sharing experiences. And I am really, really sorry that you were treated so absolutely despicably. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the betrayal that you must be feeling. I can't. And I'm really, really sorry. I'm sorry for every alcoholic who's treated other people. I am apologizing for every alcoholic who's treated other people badly, or anybody who's been in a position where alcoholics have treated them badly. Because I can't apologize to everyone I ever treated badly. And those people who treated you badly, whoever you are, you won't always get an apology from them. But this alcoholic is truly, truly sorry for the things that I did that 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 fall short of who I want to be. In whatever way I hurt you, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I really, really mean that. So let's check the time, folks. We're doing good. We're doing good. We're at 37. I love you too, Igor, my precious one. One more story. I should mention Cash, shouldn't I? I saw somebody guest Cash Patel at the Winter Olympics. Oh my God. Is there anything to say about that? Is there anything to say? It's just fucking embarrassing. I don't mind him being there celebrating with the boys. Great, wonderful. Not seeing FBI director, national hockey team. They're not natural bedfellows, are they? That's not just me, is it? And if it was like your sports minister, for example, I don't know if you have a similar position, but we have a minister for sports and culture. And yeah, I could get, we're bigging up Team GB or Team USA, but the FBI director, what? And then when I saw his Twitter post, I'm like, oh my God, the one saying, I'm sorry for all those people who don't like seeing somebody being patriotic and supporting their national team, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry to all of you that got a problem with that. Like, no, Poppet, we don't have a problem with you being there. We have a problem with the American people having to fucking pay for you to be there. Where the fuck is Nancy Guthrie? And why are people wandering into Mar-a-Lago and getting themselves shot? You've got a couple of things to do at home. Not to mention, there's this little file full of people's names who did really fucking awful things to a lot of young women and girls. Did you maybe want to give that 5 minutes? Because I appreciate that you've said there's no evidence of any crimes in there, but we're all looking, and that's not what we're seeing. Granted, not all of us are legally trained, but I know if it quacks like a fucking crime and it walks like a fucking crime, it's probably a fucking crime. So maybe I'm not telling you how to do your job. Somebody should. Not me, though. I've never been an FBI director. And I may well do as shit a job as you, but I wouldn't be there for the self-enrichment, so probably not. Oh, my Lord. Let's see what Igor has to say. Igor's always got something good to say. It's your little Cash rant. We love a Cash rant. Pretty sure Cash is as incompetent. No, don't go. Is as incompetent. I think it says as he's corrupt, if not more so. Oh, yes, absolutely. Definitely. I think corrupt and then incompetent. I think his incompetence is the only thing worse than his corruption. I don't think he gives a fuck about the optics. No. Because why would he? Their grifter-in-chief has shown them, do what you like, it's fine, you'll all get a pardon, let's crack on, boys and girls. Like all kleptocrats. Oh, because no way you can tell me he hasn't been grifting 11 ways from Sunday. Yes, he has. I will not tell you that because that would be a lie. in my opinion, in Igor's opinion, in our opinions, which we are free to have. We are not stating them as fact because we don't know. We don't know. We could be very, very misinformed. We could be judging him very harshly. I don't think so, but So where were we? Sorry, scrolled up a little bit. Like all kleptocrats, using insider hot tips to cheat big on poly fucking market. Grift. He sure as fucking ought to have a bank account fat enough to easy cover everything his greedy, entitled little heart could desire. I love this. This is so beautifully written. Had to have his first class tuck limo luxury hotel, primo seats, and the games. All gourmet fixing and easy pay all his wee little cross-eyed self, without even making a dent in his felonious future nest egg. I love that. I do love a bit of alliteration. Hands up who loves a bit of alliteration. I just find it a very powerful literary device. Yeah, no, I agree. He's if he ever met the truth, he certainly couldn't pick them out in a lineup. Gross and starstruck. Yes, absolutely. He is. He is just the poster boy for greed and gluttony. Yeah, Beverly agrees. Yeah, he's a stereo like a criminal. You mentioned Cash is ugly as a troll and twice as nasty as in Hey Central Casting. Send me the most unattractive, creepy, annoying loser you can dig up, like scrape the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, we don't belittle people for their appearance. We just mention that he hit every branch of the ugly tree when he fell out of it. So that's just our opinion. Not saying it makes him a bad person, just he's got a face that even a mother would slap. Unserious group of idiots. That pretty much is the strap line for the Trump administration 2.0 dash unserious group of idiots. Unserious group of grifting idiots. Yes, yes, no, yes. Love me alliteration. Nice. Each and every twig. Oh yeah. Totally allowed when they're equal. I think so. And I think we are allowed to talk between ourselves about whether we find somebody ugly or not. And we're not necessarily talking about the way their face is put together physically. There is an ugliness that comes out of every single person in that administration. No amount of Botox or the Mar-a-Lago facial is going to fix that kind of ugly. That's the ugly we're really talking about. Anyway, yes, Beverly, find a frog outfit. Go look, tappy on the internet. That's what I did. I did the tappy and I found one and I love it and I'll be in it. Or green. And somebody had a great idea of get green stuff and get a ping pong ball and cut it in half and then put little black with a felt tip pen and you've got little frog eyes. Love it. You can make anything into a frog. Yeah. Yes, Eagle. So yeah, let's do it. So no, that wasn't the story that got my attention. That got my attention for 5 seconds. The reaction it got in me was, oh, fuck off, car crash. And that was it. And then I moved on to the more exciting story for somebody in the UK, in our little temperate climate bubble where we're kind of swooshed and swayed and protected and pelted by the Gulf Stream. And we never get the good weather. And by the good weather, I mean the good weather, the weather that's got something about it. We get a bit cold, a bit rainy, a bit warm. That's it. We never get extremes. And I know, please don't get me wrong. Please don't misunderstand me. I am very grateful that we tend not to get extreme weather events. I am very grateful that we barely have an earthquake that could even rattle a teacup. I am very grateful that we don't have twisters. And although we have floods, we're getting better at dealing with them and they are limited. We know where they're likely to be. We can take steps. It's not the devastating. No, I take that back. It is devastating for anyone whose property is flooded. That is just devastating. I no matter how badly it is, and probably terrifying. But little bit of snow would be nice. And I don't mean a little bit, I mean a big bit. But then I want the big bit so I can look and go, ooh, and when it's falling, it's so beautiful. And when it's just like a white blanket, it's so beautiful. And then it's just really fucking inconvenient and is no help to anyone. And old people will die and people will slip and fall and have car crashes and trees will fall on them and they'll have power outages and all that bad stuff. So I do appreciate that in reality, a massive blizzard on the northeast coast of the United States is a bad thing. Did you see the 6 foot here? 6 foot snow in Canada? Wowza. No, I am so sorry, Summer. I've been a little bit remiss because most of our group are Americans. I tend to watch the American news and focus on that because it's like we're on the outside, you in Canada and me in the UK, and we're sort of like watching the nonsense going, oh, all those poor Americans. I wish there was some way I could help. No, I will have a look into the Canadian snow. That's Toronto. Anybody who wants to look at what 6 feet of snow looks like. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. My fairy tale princess head is jealous. My realistic head that knows all the stuff I mentioned before, the downside of being stuck in a fucking blizzard, is very appreciative that that's not what's going on outside. So it's north of Toronto. I imagine in the city they're a bit more protected. So, snow. Hands up who's had a little bit of the white stuff today. And I don't mean the Donald Trump Jr. kind of white stuff, which could be anything. I'm not suggesting it's the nose candy or any other kind of white stuff. The white stuff of which we speak is the snow, God's gift to people who are too hot. Let's call it that. Tomorrow, are you in Alaska? Is tomorrow in Alaska? Oh, I would really love to go to Alaska, Canada, Alaska, and about 8 different areas of the United States. But most of it is kind of my romanticized idea of what Alaska is like. Amy, that's so funny. It's like voice to text. Tomorrow, you in Alaska? Tap 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 tap. Thank you to my secretarial support staff. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, perhaps we'll have to do that after we do our marijuana mercy mission on the train across the United States and then up to summer in Canada to all kind of, hide out. Perhaps we could then move on to Alaska and do something fun. Yeah, we'll all go to Tamara. After we've done summer in Canada, we'll move on to Tamara in Fairbanks, Alaska. Yeah? Everybody up for that? Cool bananas. So, we've got a couple of people who are having snow, but I don't, forgive me if I've missed anyone, but I don't see anybody who is in the actual northeast coast of states where this blizzard has hit. Igor, you're miles away. We've got Tamara in Alaska. I expect you've had snow once or twice and you're familiar with it. We've got Summer north of Toronto. And again, snow is probably not a big scary thing for you. You probably just crack on with it. It's like any other kind of weather. Anybody? Anyway, I don't see anybody, but if you know anybody, here's pretty much an overview of what is going on in the North Coast. So that's like from Baltimore, Virginia, up to the top, up past Maine, all the way through Boston, New York, New Jersey, all the way up the side. So at last count, although the The blizzards are changing. In some areas they're starting to ease a little bit. Some areas they're still picking up. It's going to be a bit of an up and down week because of the winds, because of more snow forecast. It shouldn't be as horrific as the last blizzard when the temperatures couldn't get above zero. So there just wasn't any melting going on. But at last count, which was around about lunchtime, your time, there were more than 40 million Americans affected by blizzard warning alerts. There were wind gusts up to 85 miles per hour. In Boston, they'd been seeing winds between 50 and 70 miles per hour since 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were still going at lunchtime and the early afternoon. The average snowfall in a lot of these coastal areas, I mean coastal states, not just the coast. It's really affected a wide spread of land. Has been 3 inches of snowfall per hour, and commonly there's been up to 2 inches every 3 hours. So that's a lot, and it's just building and building and building. And while it started off quite powdery and fluffy snow, it's now becoming quite wet, dense, heavy snow. So New Yorkers, you will know that you have a responsibility. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, property owner of any kind, you have a business to clear a 4-foot path in front of your property so that people can move around. And I think that's lovely. You all do it together. Everybody gets out with their spade and you all clear the path a little bit by a little bit. But the advice is take breaks, take it steady. If you've got any sort of conditions, get somebody else to do it, get help, because the snow is very heavy, very dense. So be careful. There were 7 states in the US that had issued emergency warnings. They were in a state of emergency. There were trees fallen down, causing electricity outages. In some places, travel was impossible. In some places, travel was forbidden. There was a ban on driving in New York, but that was lifted around lunchtime today. One thing that did not stop in New York, I'm sure we can all guess, the subway just kept on plodding. And when Mayor Mandani did his little speech, I felt like New Yorkers were in safe hands, so I hope they do too. Philadelphia has seen the most snow that they've seen in a decade, and that was over 13 inches in some place. Yeah, power outage is not fun. When we were having, when Russia first invaded Ukraine, there were all sorts of, oh my God, it's going to plunge the UK into darkness. So we bought a couple of little units and you plug it in and it's a really powerful torch, but it's also got some sockets to plug your USB things into. And I think it's got one regular 3-pin plug. You have different plugs, but I'm sure you can get a similar thing in the US. And you just plug it in, switch it to the emergency setting, and then it's off and charging. And then if all your electricity goes out, the circuit's broken and the light comes on. So you don't have to try and hunt around. Oh my God, where did I have it? Because it's lighting the way for you. So that's great. We did it once when the fuse box blew, but luckily we never had these power cuts. So it's nice just to keep your mobile phone and your essential stuff with a little bit more life if you suddenly find yourself in a power cut. So in the Northeast, they are seeing the snowfall reaching 2 feet and more. I mean, that is like waist height. I saw some of these reporters and they were literally wading through the snow. And I'm like, I'm not sure I've ever waded through snow. There were over 5,000 flights, unfortunately, that have had to be cancelled because the visibility was just too treacherous and flights couldn't take off. The worst affected airports are in New York, New Jersey, Boston, and Philadelphia. There were areas where there were quite substantial power outages. For example, there were at least 270,000 homes in Massachusetts and 120,000 homes in New Jersey. But the power company JCP&L, I don't know if that means anything to you. It meant nothing to me. They are working on the outages as soon as they're aware of them, whether they're reported or whether their grid shows an outage, and they're not on top of it in as much as they've done all the ones that need fixing, but they are sending teams out every time they find a new outage. They're sending teams out to go and fix it. Their website will be updated with, what's the word? Expected outage durations. So people can go to that. 70% of Cape Cod homes were out of power because of the gusts affecting the power lines. There is a risk of coastal flooding from Virginia right up to Boston, but there's no flood alert in place at the moment for New York City, as confirmed by Mayor Mamdani. Some roads in the Northeast states have travel bans. A lot have been lifted, and they're working to get them lifted as quickly as possible. And they're sending the snowplows out just in like around and around and around. So they clear it, it keeps snowing. They clear it, it keeps snowing, but they're trying to stay on top of it. And I learned a new word. Would you all like to hear my new word? It's actually a new phrase that I was familiar with the two words, but it's a new phrase. Blacktop. Who is familiar with the phrase blacktop in this context of snow and snow being on the ground and clearing snow and whereabouts we are in the snow clear up process? Blacktop. Yeah. Someone's familiar with blacktop. I'd never heard of this term. I was today years old when I first heard the term blacktop, meaning the asphalt beneath the snow is visible. The snow has been cleared to a level where you can see road or path, or what do you call it? Sidewalk, pavement, we call it. So yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Every day's a school day, and we love that. So do we all know what a blizzard is, how it's defined? So what constitutes a blizzard? I didn't know there was an actual scientific term. I just thought, well, if the snow's blowing in your face and it's kind of hurting and there's a big winds and stuff, that's kind of a blizzard. But apparently the official definition of a blizzard, the criteria are gusts over 35 miles per hour. So there's a lot of blizzarding going on. Oh, that's interesting, Amy. Black ice can still exist. That makes sense. And black ice can be an absolute killer. Awful, awful stuff. Terrifying. I remember driving over a patch of black ice and just not knowing where the car had gone. I mean, I was still in it, but I had no idea where we were going or where we were going to end up. It was absolutely terrifying for like 2 or 3 seconds, but they were very, very long seconds. So gusts over 30 miles per hour. It has to be sustained over a period of 3 hours at least, and the visibility problems that are caused needs to bring visibility down to less than a quarter of a mile. And if you have that, gusts over 35 miles per hour, visibility less than a quarter of a mile, and sustained over 3 hours, you've got yourself a blizzard. So many of the little boys and girls are having a fun day because it's come off the end of a holiday. It sounds like you have a similar midterm break that we do in the UK. We've just come at the end of a week's break in between learning sessions at school. And because of this, the mayor and his team were explaining it was quite difficult to get in place distance learning. Because normally, if they knew snow was coming the day before or the Friday before the weekend, if it was going to happen on the Monday, they could provide the students with electronic devices for those that needed them, and then they could roll out a comprehensive distance learning package. Hey, Kimmy. But because it was at the end, and they were expecting it, but they weren't expecting it in a way that they could plan to provide people with the electronic devices that they would need to all be able to join in. They gave them an absolutely free snow day. It was 100% no school, no distance learning, just get out there, get some fresh air in your lungs, throw some snowballs, scream, wail, laugh your heads off, and just have a really good time. Enjoy a slightly longer break. And if anybody is interested, there was one school in the New York City area that didn't, and they did provide online learning to their kids. So I feel very sorry for them. But somebody asked a question at the press conference: aren't New York schools on quite a tight schedule because of one thing and another? There isn't any wriggle room to have a day off. And the mayor explained that was the case, but they didn't really have any choice in the circumstances. So that's why they had the day off. They are expecting all the schools to open tomorrow. Sorry, kids. And the ABC7 New York website will have details of all the schools, but you could also go to the New York City website, and that will have all the information for staying safe and where there are safe spaces to go if you need heating up, if you've lost power, emergency numbers, numbers to find out if your school board is opening your schools, etc., etc., etc. And although there is more snow forecast later on in the week, they are hoping that the temperatures will be the saviour. So it is going to be a little bit of a precarious picture this week, but not as bad as the last time, they believe, and they've learnt as well. So it is likely that airports will be affected all week. There may be further cancellations and delays. You are advised to check with your airline if you are flying. And a very nice chat on the ABC News suggested check your credit cards. If you've got a credit card where you pay a fee, a premium fee, like an annual fee, you may have something called travel interruption insurance. And if you have travel interruption insurance, you may well be able to get support for things like a hotel, subsistence while you're waiting to do your flight. So if you've flown out somewhere and it's your flight back that's been delayed, you can't exactly say, well, I won't bother, I'll fly another time. You need to get home. So you can get support. Oh my God, Cancun cruise. That was actually my first noticing of Ted Cruz. And I'm like, you're an arse, aren't you? And that is just my opinion. He may not be an arse. I don't have the evidence to say one way or another whether Ted Cruz is in fact an arse. It's my impression of his behaviour that makes me think and believe that he is an arse in a protected free speech kind of a way. We good? We good. So I think we've rambled on long enough. We have hit the 1 o'clock mark. It's almost time to close the cafe. But where are we all going to be all day tomorrow? In and out, 9:30. Everybody listening? So defiance.org SOTU. So I'll put that in the chat. No, I won't, because I never click in the box and then I type it all out and forget. Defiance.org/SOTU. That will take you straight to the Defiance.org website, where you will get the State of the Swamp information. On Substack, defiance.news. And it will tell you how you can share it on all your socials. What to be. I think it's going to have a time. I haven't checked it out because I've been trying to do a million other things. Especially watch Foxcatcher. Everybody watch Foxcatcher. I think you can get it on various platforms. It's a movie. Not if you're feeling a little bit mosh. It's not one to watch when you're already feeling a bit mosh. Watch it with, somebody who you love. Yes. So defiance.news on Substack, defiance.org on the interweb. Go check out State of the Swamp information, find out how you can share it far and wide, find out how you can be involved, make sure you're registered if you're joining virtually. I will be here at various points. Certainly, I will be here when it all kicks off in the evening. Yes, absolutely. 9:30 Eastern time. So Igor and everybody who's joining Igor's La La party, you're going to have to set your alarms. That's all I'm saying. In the UK, I can just roll out of bed mid-afternoon. In fact, I'll have to be watching that on my phone in the car as I go and pick up the child, dressed or not dressed as a frog, or full frog or semi-frog. But yeah, so my day is going to be very, very different in terms of schedule to the rest of yours. Going to be following the same schedule, just at very different times of day. So I'm very, very exciting. Igor, you bought a virtual VIP package today. I'm so pleased for you. I so wanted to, but when I checked my bank account and there was only £20 until my next money comes in at the end of the month, I'm like, no, I won't be getting a virtual VIP package. I will be getting a virtual package. I will be enjoying it, and I will be here as like a chill out space, a State of the Swamp, meeting area. It sounds like they are providing so many good stuff, and it's going to be on Substack, so you may not need this space. We'll gauge it. If I go online at the same time as a space for people to come and chat and say, hi, you watching? Yeah, I'm watching. Oh my God, what did you think of, not Robert De Niro, because that'd be right at the end. But do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh yes, and Discord. Yes. Chris, can you bob a link in for the Discord in, and I can. Is there a way? Somebody just tell me yes or no. Can I go in afterwards and see who was watching, and then send everybody a link to the Discord so I can get a list of Beverly, Igor, Amy, etc., etc., etc. Can I then send you all a message, like a DM, with the link to the Discord if you don't catch it? Everybody, Chris has popped the Discord there. So what we'll do tomorrow, because Chris explained to me, because I have got no clue how Discord works. I am absolutely flipping useless when it comes to Discord. But the links expire. So we will make sure there are links in my live tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. or 6:45 Eastern time. Yes, that's what we'll do. We will start a chat on my Substack and put it there. Or yes, a chat, a live, all the things. We will put it everywhere. Yes, we'll definitely, that's a good idea. We'll put it on the chat in the Substack. We'll do that. We can do that lots and lots and lots and lots. And then I don't have to worry about who was here, or even if you weren't here, but you wish you'd been here and you're now watching the video and you're like, oh, I wasn't here. They didn't have my name. How am I going to find the Discord? The Discord is so much more fun. You can be interactive. You can, if you just prefer to type, you can type. If you want to chat voice with people, you can chat voice. If you want to chat face with people, you can chat face. If you want to come on here on my live and come up and chat and say hi and tell us what you're doing and show us your costumes, you can do that. We're going to wing it. If it turns out that Defiance are providing all you could possibly want for an evening, and I am absolutely superfluous, surplus to requirements, as it were, then we can just close down and relax for the night. But we're going to have this a space where we can meet and say, how's it going? Did you see the frogs this morning? Did you have, oh, Eagle has no face. That's okay. You don't have to have a face. You can join in however works for you. We do not judge, and everyone is welcome. I'm never superfluous. Oh, but I'm a bit tired. Did I do all right? I am absolutely freaking exhausted, had no motivation or inspiration to get on and be enthusiastic today. And I'm like, push yourself. It's a fucking hour. You can do it, bitch. So that's what I've tried to do. Everybody good? We got a plan? We're all there. We all know how to get our information. We all know. Everybody, I hope you've all got your day planned. So, school run, quickly Substack to check the frogs delivering I am so here for the frogs delivering. They think it's going to be a long well, yeah, it is. It's going to be a long fucking day for everyone, isn't it? It really is for everyone. Whatever time we start and whatever time we finish, depending on our various time zones, I think we're all going to be a little bit fucked come Wednesday. And that's okay, because we're doing it for democracy, aren't we, guys? Yes? Yes, exactly. So with that, my lovely darlings, it's time I got some shut-eye and said to you all, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for contributing. Thank you for all your personal stories and comments that add to the debate and the discussion and make this such a fantastic place for me to be. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you're all relaxed, and I will see you tomorrow. Behave. Good night. The cafe is